Hello, just the cloud stuff is here. We're going to talk about George Michael and Wham in this episode. And I have a special new guest here. I've been in Adrian's channel before. It's called Music Meltdown, and now now she's here with me. Uh, Welcome, Adrian. Here.
Hello.
I guess I had to bring the biggest Wham fan around here.
I don't think I've ever met somebody quite as passionate as you are about Wham specifically.
Oh well,
So
I don't know.
nothing
But
wrong with it.
yeah, true. I guess I first want to know what's your like I don't know if you have any memories of Wham or George Michael, or did you know how well did you know before this journey?
Um, okay. So I obviously knew the songs by Wham that everyone knows, like Camp Before You Go Go, Last Christmas. They're good, but like they're ubiquitous. I wasn't ever paying attention to them. And same with Careless Whisper, which didn't actually know was them or George Michael for a while. And then I found out and I was like, ooh. Eventually ended up listening to Faith. You'll hear about that much, much later. But past that, hadn't really heard anything else. Just wasn't really that inspired to do the deep dive, if that makes sense. But I know you had mentioned it to me before, so I wasn't opposed to it. This is gonna be weird because it seems like all the guests that you have on for certain artists are really passionate, really in love with the artist, and I'm just like, yeah, I like them. So it'll be an interesting dichotomy.
Yeah. Usually my guests are bigger fans of the artist than I, but it's probably uh different in this episode. But I don't know. I feel like we're gonna have some similar things here. It's just like three Wham albums and five George Michael solo albums, so not a long discography to go. And I knew everything basically beforehand, but some better than others, of course. But yeah, and some of my opinions changed for better or worse. Adrian is going to start the ranking. We're going to go one out of time. And so, what's your number eight, Adrian?
Okay, so my least favorite, I'll let the cat out of the bag. One of the two artists we're discussing today fill out most of my bottom slots. And my number eight is going to be Music from the Edge of Heaven. As much as I want to say Wham end on a high note, they don't. This is mainly just a distilling of the issues that I have with Wham into one record. The songs aren't very good. I don't really love this sort of overly exuberant and just sort of massive 80s sound that they have. And some of Michael's performances across these songs, they feel a bit forced to me, which is something that I can't really ever say about about his solo work. And while I never really outwardly dislike anything upon this record, there's also not a single song I think is really all that good or great on here. On the whole, I just think it's kind of mediocre to me. I have it at 2.5 stars. It's just sort of fine.
Yeah, I kind of get it. Kind of feels slightly like a cash grab. Just kind of
Mhm.
fill out. And some of those songs were already released, I think so. Different number eight. I don't know, do you have this? Either you have it in similar spots or you really like it. I don't know, but I have songs from the last century. It's my bottom from 1999. So his solo album. Well, this is basically a covers album. And like it kind of has a similar vibe all the time. So it's kind of kind of lush and mellow, and it has like he covers like Police's Roxanne, and I recognize the Miss Sarajevo. I think that's the U2 Pavarotti side project thing, and Wild is the Wind. And so it's kind of like I don't dislike it, but it's not something I go back to. But it's still kind of good. I think his vocals are good. I didn't say, but I think as a singer, he would be top 5 or top 10 for me, really up there. And he's just fantastic. But yeah, it's not my kind of style. This is more traditional kind of standards thing. But yeah, but 3 stars for this. It's still good. It's good background music, I guess. But yeah, that's my bottom.
Gotcha. That'll be a little bit higher for me because I'm still talking about Lamb. Number 7 for me, I have the debut Fantastic. And this was about what I was expecting. It's a very over the top, exuberant pop album filled with massive 80 synthesizers, solid horn arrangements, and George Michael's incredible voice. He's able to sell a lot of this incredibly dated material very well. The only song that I thought really fully worked for me was Club Tropicana, which I thought was really fun. However, I did not like Wham Rap. Appreciate the effort, but let's just say you guys are not exactly the hippest of hoppers or whatever. On the whole, it's like a solid pop album. I don't really feel too strongly towards it. I'm at 3 stars. I can't go too low for anything that has Michael's voice on it. He's just too good, but not really for me is the main issue.
Number 7 is an album that kind of fell down for me actually, and it's another solo album of his. So the last one, Patience. So it's the UK version that I listened to. It's 70 minutes long, and really do feel the length of the album, even if I feel like I put this higher than the covers album because it has some great songs like My Mother Had a Brother and True, and I also like the Freak song, and but it also has some of those moments where I'm like, oh, just I don't really like Amazing, uh, honestly. Um, find it a bit annoying, and like if it has two like I don't know, is it the right thing to say, but if it has two like a clubby type of, it's too much usually for me. But um, so it has moments. I like Patience too, and both parts and mixture of this I like, this I don't. So it's an odd listen to me, and I don't think it sounds the best out of these. Maybe my least favorite sounding album here, but yeah, 3 stars for Patience.
That'll still be a little bit higher for me, although I don't disagree with a lot of your criticisms. Number 6 for me, a bit of overlap. Songs from the Next Century. It's solid, but nothing about it's really all that remarkable to me. I'm at 3 stars for it. It's mostly just a take on classic pop and sort of jazz tracks. Michael sounds outstanding, and the arrangements themselves are quite good. I just don't get a lot from the songs themselves and how he redoes them, despite them all being very well crafted and articulated. I do find the choice of Roxanne to be a very confusing one for Michael, and placing it in the number 2 hole within the record just isn't a great decision, I think. There isn't really much to complain about, though. I think it's just a perfectly pleasant, solid release. However, I don't really feel all that strongly towards it one way or another. So 3 stars, it's decent, is what it is.
And yeah, another that you already talked about, Music from the Edge of Heaven is my number 6. Again, yeah, I already said it kind of feels like something they just put together. It was pretty much the end of Wham. I don't know. It's again mixture of like the previous album I talked. Half is great, half is well, not so much. But I like The Edge of Heaven. That's very fun. Cool guitar solo in that. Um, I like I'm Your Man, but I would rather have the single version. It's shorter and yeah, I feel like 6 minutes is a bit too much. I don't know why they remade Wham Rap. It's not the best song in the original version, and I don't think it's. I don't remember it being that much better. Um, I probably still like the original. I don't know. I feel like it sounds better. I love Different Corner. It's a song that always gets me emotional, and it's love his vocals in it. And Blue is fine, but Where Did Your Heart Go is kind of cool. I'm not totally sure was that live too, but it has maybe a little bit live feel, that song with those. And it has those big saxophone moments which are cool. And then it ends with a already released Last Christmas. But this is the longer version, which is cool. It's always been my favorite version of Last Christmas because it has those George just sings his heart out in the end. And yeah, I do love Last Christmas, even if I've heard it probably way too many times. It's 3.5 for me, because it's not the best lineup of songs, but it's not 70 minutes too, so it helps. But yeah, 3.5 for Wham's last album.
Nice. I'm almost at 3.5, and I'm sorry. I know you really like this one. Number 5 is gonna be Make It Big. It's solid. I have this one at a strong 3 stars. I almost went 3.5. My main issue just boils down to inconsistency and how it is just so of its time. This album is the definition of 1984. It's 80s excess at its most, and I like it. It's fun, but it's a bit much. However, Wake Me Up Before You Go Go, it's an incredible song. The original version of Careless Whisper isn't great, but it's still fundamentally a really good song. And tracks such as Heartbeat or Like a Baby were very strong as well. It's mainly just that the rest of the record to me feels a bit filler, a bit fluffy. And while it's more enjoyable than the stuff that filled out fantastic to me, it's filler nonetheless. It's a solid release, but I don't think it's quite there. So I have it at a pretty strong 3, almost 3.5 stars for Make It Big.
I don't know, I just maybe I kind of saw it coming that it's not gonna be as high for you. I'm kind of surprised it's lower than one album, but you must like it more than me. My number 5 is um another solo album, Older. I think we're gonna disagree here, but yeah, it's an album I don't listen to that much, honestly. Like it has some great songs, like Jesus to a Child. It opens the album wonderfully, and Older. I kind of like the more like mellower stuff here. I gotta say, I'm not the biggest fan of Fast Love. I know that's a big single and it got good reviews and all, but it's always the, I don't know, the sort of what you would hear in some sort of club in the 90s. Just never been my I want to listen to, but You Are Beloved is very jazzy, which is cool, and Freeze and kind of a more instrumental type of song. It sounds very good. I think it's well made. I find it I don't know what I say boring, but a bit a bit like 58 minutes is a bit too long for me. Um, for this, and it's cool mix of like kind of R&B and I don't know, maybe soul music. I'm not sure what genres are here, but um, yeah, it's I know this is more like album, so I'm not that huge on this album, but yeah. So it's again 3.5 for me. Older.
Yep, that's going to be a little bit higher for me. And interesting, interesting. Number four for me, you can relax. It is Patience. It's not great, but I'm up to 3.5. I think it's good. This has some of my favorites by him and some of the worst stuff. Notably, anytime the club or the dance influence comes into play, I'm out. I don't like it. It's just like a fundamental thing. I don't like that music. Per the usual, Michael sounds outstanding, even at this point, nearly 20 years into his career. Um, and there are a lot of great songs within the front half, with Amazing as well as Cars and Trains being the highlights. And the rest of it is pretty decent without too many issues for me. I don't love the club stuff, but that just sort of is what it is. It's not an overtly complex or challenging listen, in my opinion. It's just a pretty solid record. So I'm at 3.5 for it. I like it. There you go.
But yeah, I definitely agree that probably has the lowest moments of this whole journey we did. But yeah, this next album, my number four, I was pleasantly surprised how much I liked it now. And but yeah, it's kind of raise a bit eyebrows that I have this higher than older. But my number four is fantastic, the Wham debut, and I think this is a lot of fun. Um, George Michael rapping is a bit, it's a bit, I don't know, a bit too naive, maybe. I don't know. It doesn't sound right, but even Wham rap the chorus that's with the wham bam. I don't know what they keep saying, but it just will get stuck on my head, and I will just happily sing it. But I kind of like most songs here. I think the weakest are probably the closer, Young Guns, where they again bring the rapping sort of thing. But and I love the. I was surprised. I kind of forgot how like it to me. It kind of sounds more 70s than 80s, and it has that kind of a. I don't know. I didn't do side by side comparison, and I might be way off, but I kind of get reminded of some sort of late 70s kind of a disco type of um I don't know, is off the wall a good comparison or not. I'm not sure, but um I get transported to that era rather than 83, um but I love like Club Tropicana. It's just a lot of fun. Very extremely catchy song. Bad Boys, Ray of Sunshine. It has some I feel like yeah, I think those are George Michael's vocals that sometimes he either sings almost too high and sometimes he sings too low and gets some comical moments, perhaps a bit like in Love Machine, the backing vocals and sort of, but it's just a lot of fun, great bass lines. Sounds really good. Um, it's just kind of that disco-y type of, maybe a little bit of funk even. So but it's very like youthful and sort of thing. So it's definitely not for everyone, but if you kind of like that sort of disco, maybe in the 80s, if they survived, maybe this would have been the cool thing. But um, yeah, so I actually had this at 4 stars already. I do like this album quite a bit. But yeah, it's my number 4.
Gotcha. Not quite at 4 stars yet, but we're getting close. Number three for me, I suspect will be your three as well. I have Listen Without Prejudice. I think this is a pretty bizarre record for Michael, if I'm being honest, but a good one. Especially directly following Faith, I feel like this is certainly an interesting choice. I'm at 3.5, but it is a pretty big drop off for me. I like the direction though. Things are more gentle, filled with more acoustic instrumentation, and it just lets Michael soar across all of these tracks even more than he typically does. Sadly, the crap of songs isn't all that great in my opinion, with really only Freedom 90, Heal the Pain, and the Waiting reprise doing much to really be a standout for me, but there aren't any lowlights either. It's a really solid release from him front to back. Don't expect hit after hit after hit like on Faith, but it's still pretty good for what he's going for. And I do think that it's a really solid record. So 3.5 for it. I like it a decent bit, but it's no Faith, which I think that it's kind of obvious where that's gonna fall.
Yeah, it's definitely an interesting album, but it's actually not my number 3. My number 3 is Make It Big from Wham. I kind of thought about it 4 with Wham. Um, I don't find these albums totally consistent. I'm kind of like more singles are awesome with Wham mostly, and well, they have some good um like album tracks or what you want to call them, but I kind of think they picked the singles well. But it has some awesome songs here. Biggest songs bookend the album, Wake Me Up and Careless Whisper. I've heard both of them again, probably way too many times. Although this is not the single version of Careless Whisper, so longer intro. I think Wake Me Up is a good, well, probably a great song, but I don't know. It's not something other than in the album, I don't ever put it on, honestly. But I love everything she wants. Heartbeat, Heartbeat kind of has that ABBA piano style that I like. Um, Freedom. Like if you were there, it's solid too, and like a baby, it's more lush. But and Credit Card Baby is definitely the worst song here. Kind of feels underwritten, but so it's definitely a solid list of songs, but doesn't go to that great level for me. Um, that we're gonna get to soon. But yeah, but it's a very good pop album from the 80s, and it's very 80s. But yeah, I don't know. That's my number 3. Make it big.
Nice, nice. And in the shock of the episode, my number two is not Faith. It's older. No. This is a really solid step up from Listen Without Prejudice, in my opinion. Um, this album leans a bit more into the adult contemporary side, but also has a cool, almost lounge feeling all throughout it. It really is very vocal forward, with Michael being the primary attraction across here, and he is just a remarkable singer, as I will continue to say again and again. It opens greatly with Jesus to a Child. I think Fast Love is incredibly strong, same with the title track. And it keeps really strong momentum all throughout until getting to Star People, where it sounds like he's trying to do something a bit closer to Faith, which I would like, but it doesn't really fit in on this record. As well, You Have Been Loved, I thought was just okay. On the whole, however, it's a very enjoyable, really solid pop release. I have it at 4 stars. I'm really surprised it fell so low for you, but it just sort of is what it is. I really enjoyed it. Number two, older.
So that was your number 2. My number 2 is Listen Without Prejudice. Damn, it's a hard word. Doesn't really
English
work
lesson.
with my Finnish. Uh,
It's all
volume
right.
one. Um, yeah, there's definitely an interesting album, very different to Fate, and well, that's what he kind of wanted to. He wanted more respect as a songwriter and musician, and wanted to kind of get out of the uh, sort of sex symbol stardom thing that was kind of in Wham slash Fate. It has plenty of highlights for me. There's nothing bad. There's few moments in the middle that I'm not really looking at the clock or anything, but kind of wish it had some sort of maybe misses some sort of like I think Fate is probably better based and it kind of goes through better. But some of these songs I absolutely love, like Praying for Time, Freedom 90, They Won't Go When I Go, Stevie Wonder cover, and Mother's Pride and Waiting, Reprise is even cool. And um Waiting for That Day has that he brings up the Rolling Stones lyrics in the end and like Cowboys and Angels are it's the longest song here and it has that kind of jazzy vibe to it, which is kind of cool. And Heal the Pain is more poppy-ish, and it's definitely an interesting album. I definitely want to like to see Volume 2. Um, but I know he had um, label problems, and well, I think he also sued Sony Music because uh, I think he wasn't happy with that they didn't really market this album that well, and I guess Sony didn't also like the fact that George uh, didn't want to be that sex symbol thing, gonna market that. Definitely, it kind of maybe is missing some of those pop moments, but plenty of great songs. And I feel like this is a bit forgotten. It, um, especially straight after Fate, and probably should have gotten him even more respect as a songwriter. But yeah, it's a great album for me. So 4.5.
Nice. Seems like it is growing in critical appraisal. It ended up making that Apple Music top 100 albums list. I think it was like
Oh,
91 or so, so
oh damn. I didn't know.
over Faith, so that was interesting. It's
Oh
also
yeah.
wrong because number one is Faith. It's honestly kind of just shocking how great this record is as immediately after he leaves Wham. While most of Wham feels incredibly dated and to me lacks a lot of great material, Faith I think is pretty much a timeless pop masterpiece. Michael sound out ah, Michael sounds outstanding across the songs. They still have a very exuberant, sort of expressive 80s style without ever properly crossing into an overbearing territory. I think that the title track is classic. I Want Your Sex is 9 minutes of a fantastic pop craft that probably should have gone to Prince. One More Try and Kissing a Fool is an incredible vocal performance. And Look at Your Hands, a Monkey are just fun little pop songs. It's a massive leap in quality from what he had been doing prior to this to me. I think it's really great. I have it at 4.5 stars. I think it is a fantastic record, Faith.
Oh yeah. Definitely agree. Actually, Fate and the next album is not too far away from each other, but I do kind of agree that this is his pop masterpiece, almost like just a pretty awesome mix of big pop bangers and there's the sensual kind of stuff and has even some like biting lyrics to it sometimes, and it's a cool mix. And I feel like the end of Wham, especially the last album, it kind of feels maybe just put on songs together, and maybe he was already in that mode. I want to get big as a solo artist, and he needs to show the world his capabilities, and it works for him wonderfully, and has sold like I don't know 25 million copies or something crazy. But and well, just a plenty of awesome songs like Father Figure and I Want Your Sex is a song probably like a little bit less than you based on your comments, but it's still cool. It's slightly long, but and I think that song is in Beverly Hills Cop 2 that came out the same year, but One More Try is an wonderfully crafted pop ballad that's very just one of the best of the 80s, honestly. And I love Hand to Mouth. Monkey is another number one single, and it's awesome. And Kissing a Fool ends the album pretty perfectly with that sort of jazzy vibe. And like there's a bit of moments where I'm like I'm not the biggest fan of maybe Hard Day. That brings up the um, kind of reminds me of something that maybe Prince would do um, in like Sign of the Times. So George Michael brings up the like I don't know how to kind of call those kind of type of vocals like are they sped up or they're like I know it's him, so like there's some word that I'm not that they have, but I don't remember it from the top of my head. But it's kind of in some points I feel like kind of brings up the funk, and I'm not sure if that's my favorite moments of this album. So it's to me it's not even if I really like George Michael, I still don't have this at 5 stars. It's 4.5 for me. So there's a few like I Hard Day, maybe Look at Your Hands isn't top tier. And well, Fade is again a bit too overplayed for me, like but some awesome songs. Even how much I like George Michael, and I feel like the songs list is where I kind of there's just love it, love it, love it, love it, love it, love it. Fun. And it wasn't the easy thing to do, but yeah. Number one, Fate, 4.5.
There you go. It's number one. There's nothing you can do about it.
Oh
On to
yeah.
this. Oh, I don't do these
Was it
typically, so I don't know.
yeah, was it hard or easy?
It wasn't too crazy. So here we go. There's a lot of faith and a lot of older. So there you go. At
Yeah.
number 10, I've got Jesus to a Child from older. Number 9, I've got Move On from older. At number 8, I've got It Doesn't Really Matter from older. That's my whole list. It's just the older track listing and then Careless Whisper. No, number 7, I have Kissing a Fool from Faith. And sort of to juxtapose that, I have One More Try from Faith at 6. Number 5 is the title track of Faith. 4, one Wham song did make it into my top 10. Wake Me Up Before You Go Go. It's just a classic. I can't deny it. Number 3, I've got To Be Forgiven from Older being my favorite. Number 2, the lone track from Listen Without Prejudice to make my top 10 is Heal the Pain. And then my favorite song by George Michael, I think it's undeniable. is Careless Whisper. I think it's just an incredible pop song.
Awesome, awesome. Um, I'm not sure how many do we have in common actually. Um, I feel like maybe one. Could it be possible that only one? But uh, maybe you can tell me afterwards. But yeah. So top 10 Wham slash George Michael songs. Add a bit more Wham uh, than Adrian, but so I'm gonna start with the Wham song, and yeah, I'm not totally sure. Like I feel like these last spots were tough because I wanted to include so many, but number 10 is a Wham song called Freedom from Make It Big. Uh, just a lot of fun. Uh, great, great pop song. And number 9 is actually a cover song. Um, I'm fine with adding cover songs if I really love it. So that version, and it's the They Won't Go When I Go, Stevie Wonder cover, and like one of my I think one of his best vocal performances, honestly. But um, it's very like moody, and it's not for every situation, but when it hits, it really hits, basically. And number 8, I have Freedom 90, perhaps the poppiest, at least. I think it's the biggest song from that album, and uh, such a cool song, and um, yeah, love it a lot. Number 7 is a Wham song, which I always get in a good mood when I hear this. It's Heartbeat from Make It Big. And yeah, I really love the chorus and the piano, and just wonderfully crafted. And number 6, I have the big Christmas song, Last Christmas, but it's the longer version. So it's called Pudding Mix. And yeah, it's just something that I can actually listen to even if it's not Christmas, because it's okay, it's Christmassy, but it's not like totally, in my opinion. It kind of transcends it, but yeah, it's a cool little pop number, which is I guess 6 minutes, but like yeah, love it. Number 5 is from Fate, surprisingly first Fate song, but yeah, it's Hand to Mouth, which I've always loved, and uh, just some wonderful melodies here, and um, I love the drums and how it sounds, and even the how the chorus, how he sings it, and just comes right through, and yeah, just and the biting lyrics too. It's a cool one. Number 4 is well, George Michael song technically, but it's in a Wham album. So in the last album, A Different Corner, which is more this kind of low-key, moodier song. Um, and it's just one of these songs that you play in a dark room, or it's very sad, and just it kind of hits perfectly in that mood. And yeah, just him and kind of low-key arrangement, I guess. And number 3 is actually my favorite Wham song. Um, it's always been basically Everything She Wants. Yeah, just a pop masterpiece. Would be high on my 84 list, and just just brilliant. Number two is George Michael and One More Try. I think this is at least the one that we had in common, or am I correct? Yeah. Um, so yeah, the vocal performance is just fire basically, and just love it a lot. And number one is Praying for Time. I just I love that he's kind of very pretty vocal style here, and like he has plenty of awesome vocal performances, and might be my favorite. I'm not sure, and I just love this whole song and how it sounds and the lyrics and all. Yeah, all, always kind of gets me in that very, I don't know, word, vulnerable feeling. But yeah, you should be praying for time or what he sings. But yeah, just that was my top 10. That was our Wham and George Michael ranking. And I want to thank Adrian for being here and listening to 8 George Michael sung albums. Now it's over. Now it's just peaceful and whatever. But yeah, I want to see your list, the comments, and what's your favorite George Michael songs, and check out Adrian's channel Music Meltdown, which I'm also
There's
been there. We've done a few episodes together. Have a nice day. Bye bye.